Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am very happy to have you here, guys. So as you can see, today we will be trying out 5 fragrances for the summertime from the house of Ahmed al Maghribi. This is the house that I have been testing a lot of their fragrances lately. So if you want some new summer fragrances that are affordable and long lasting on your radar, then let's just begin. I have a little bit of everything for everyone. I have 4 fragrances that lean more on the, generally speaking, more on the feminine side, and I have one that leans on the masculine side, or like it could be a unisex but leaning more on the masculine side. So let's start with the fragrance called Musk Roses. I have a decant of this one. Yes, I will insert, like always, somewhere the note over here. So this fragrance, guys, is a very interesting fragrance. First of all, basically, in my opinion, you have like 2 different fragrances in one. The way this one smells when you first apply it, it's very different to how this one smells in the dry down. I can even say like they're like 2 different fragrances, you know, so it's almost like you get 2 fragrances in one. So yes, this one in the opening, it's a fresh, bright, airy floral fragrance with a clean undertone, and it also has some like musky and crisp fruity nuances. What I can smell in the opening, guys, you have here like a shy and delicate but little bit sweet pink rose. You have here a touch of peony, a touch of raspberry that gives this, like I said, like soft but crisp fruity touch, and a lot of musk. This is very musky in the opening, so it's fresh, it's clean, it's bright, it's floral. I wouldn't call this particularly sweet in the opening, but this one, as it stays, it changes into such a beautiful fragrance. So in the opening, guys, this is basically like a fresh floral with musky, crisp, fruity nuances, you know. Like I said, you get pink rose, peony, and raspberry, and musk to my nose. But as this one is staying on your skin, it develops into such a beautiful and creamy fragrance. Basically, the fresh, crisp aspect that you had in the opening fades away, and the overall scent, guys, it gets warmer, rounder, smoother, and way creamier. Yes, I would say after, let's say, 15 to 20 minutes of this one on your skin, you start to get the softest watermelon touch mixed with coconut. The coconut here is very similar to the coconut used in Bani. If you've tried that fragrance, Bani from Ahmed al Maghribi, I think either I have a review of that one posted, either a video of the fragrance will be coming up, so I don't know yet. But if you've tried that fragrance, or if you've ever smelled that fragrance, it's the same full, rich, thick coconut, not like coconut water, not like coconut, like lotiony sort of coconut, no, like coconut flakes, you know, like a real and very realistic smelling coconut. Now here you don't get it as strong as you get it into that fragrance. Here I would say it's on the softer side. So after 20 minutes, this fragrance is a completely different fragrance, and the notes and the accords you got once in the opening, now they are gone, most of them almost. You are still left with that musky, peony, rosy combo, but I would say it moves into the background now. And in the front you have this like this very strong but creamy and slightly toasted coconut touch mixed with the creamiest sandalwood, and in the background you had the notes and the vibes that I was telling you about. The first word that came to my mind when I smelled this fragrance was balanced. This is a very balanced, timeless, even classy perhaps kind of fragrance. But for sure, this is a timeless fragrance. This is the kind of fragrance that smelled good like 10 years ago, smells good now, and it will smell just as good in 20 years. It's not this like trendy fragrance that goes in and out of style, you know. Now, I would say this is nothing like groundbreaking, but this is like a basic fragrance done very well. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but this is very oily, so it sticks very well to your skin, to your clothes, to your hair, you know, so longevity is not an issue when it comes to this fragrance. So I would say this fragrance would suit you if you're looking for something that's not very demanding, that's not very complex. If you're looking for a fragrance that you could easily blend by, that it's most likely you will enjoy this one. I enjoy this one, even though it's not, let's say, my kind of fragrance, I could still enjoy this one, and I would wear it if I were to have it in my collection. You know, it's a very well done, balanced fragrance. It's a timeless fragrance. I would say at most it might be underwhelming to some, but this is why I say, if you're looking for something that's very different, this is not a fragrance. If you're looking for something that could be your everyday, elegant, feminine fragrance, that you could dress it up, you could dress it down, you could wear it with, let's say, a jeans and t-shirt, but you could also wear it with like flowy dresses and heels or something, I would say this is the fragrance. So let's move on to the next fragrance. This one is Leen, and I have it in this sort of sample. Like I've mentioned in previous videos, I really like how Ahmed al Maghribi does their samples. I find it very useful. It comes in this like card box. Here in the back you have the notes. So if I have the notes in front of me, I will read them to you. In the top, this has red fruits. In the heart, it has roses and lily of the valley. And in the base, this one has sandalwood and musk. This is an eau de parfum like the previous fragrance. I think honestly all their fragrances are eau de parfums, if I'm not mistaken, who knows. Now, what can I tell you about this fragrance, guys? This to me smells very abstract. It doesn't smell like red fruits in the top, rose and lily of the valley in the middle, and musk in the base. To me, it has like a very like blended abstract scent that it's harder to describe, at least for me. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of fragrances from Hugo Boss. This reminds me of fragrances from Lacoste. This reminds me of fragrances from what other brands? Like, let me tell you, like this sort of brands, you know, like this sort of brands, like Hugo Boss, Lacoste. Like generally, guys, I don't know how to describe this fragrance to you. First of all, it's abstract. It doesn't smell like something that I could show you, or like something that I could like associate this one with. So the first word that comes to my mind when I smell it, it's abstract. It's creamy and very round, sweet, but like a soft sweetness, a soft moderate sweetness, but it's there. Like, I think again you have a creamy sandalwood here that makes this fragrance very creamy and very round. You also have a touch of vanilla here. It's not listed in the notes, but I can smell it because you have a soft vanillic like sweetness, but it's very like round and enveloping, you know, it almost like it envelops all the other notes. You do get some floral chords. I mean, perhaps you do get like a little bit of lily of the valley. Lily of the valley, like guys, like in real life, to my nose at least, it's a very soft white floral greenish sort of mix, you know, that's very soft and delicate. Now this fragrance, indeed, it is delicate. This is a delicate fragrance, but a delicate fragrance in terms of notes, not in terms of performance, because in terms of performance, this performs. Yeah, it's like abstract, delicate, a little bit sweet, round, warm, dense. It's very hard to describe, guys. Like, generally speaking, it's very hard to describe. I get no red fruity touches in this one. To my nose, this is more of a creamy, vanillic, ambery sort of fragrance with soft, musky nuances. A little bit powdery, but just the slightest bit. And also you have some sweetness, like abstract, soft, fruity nuances. And like a touch of lily of the valley, but almost it's like mixed with another floral. But this is not a floral fragrance. This is to me more like an amber based fragrance, but not like a Middle Eastern take on amber. This is again not a Middle Eastern fragrance. I would say this is perfect for the summertime. It's very easy to enjoy. Like, I can generally, like, I think everyone will enjoy this fragrance. If I were to tell you which one is the safest blind buy out of all, this one it would be. And I don't think it's a boring fragrance, honestly. I don't think you will be underwhelmed. I think this is a very interesting and abstract, but very approachable and easy to wear fragrance. I would say if Musk Roses is more elegant, this is definitely more casual, but it's not a juvenile fragrance. It's not a young smelling fragrance. It's an ageless fragrance that if you want to buy something that you know you will enjoy, like there's legit nothing to not enjoy about this one, because it smells very neutral at the same time, you know, then get this one, you will enjoy it. This fragrance is called Muzn, and this is such a weird and different fragrance, but you know, in a lot of cases being weird can actually be like a compliment, you know. So the fact that this fragrance is weird, I'm saying it as like a positive aspect, not like a negative one. Let me actually read you the notes. So this one, guys, in the top it has marine salt and melon. In the heart it has musk and sandalwood. In the base you have fruity and amber resins. Have you noticed what sort of like unusual notes this one has? Basically, I have two samples of this one. I have one that came in this one and another one that came separately, so I just stored them both here. So let me just actually get out the sample that I'm currently using. No, this fragrance is very interesting, guys. This smells like a drink to me, like a cocktail, like a summery cocktail, but in a non-alcoholic way. Like, okay, you know what this smells like? Imagine you take melon, like yellow melon, you cut few pieces, you make them in a puree form, for a drink. You put it in a glass, you add some ice, you add some water, but like you add salt in the mix as well. So it's like, let's say, like a salty, sweet, fruity, tropical cocktail with a lot of ice, because it's very cooling and cold at the same time. I have never tried a fragrance that smells like this one, honestly. So I would say the most unique one out of all this is this one, is Muzn. Yes guys, it's very salty, like very salty, but also sweet, like salty sweet. Imagine like you take a glass, okay? You put, like I said, a puree of melon, like yellow, juicy, ripe melon. So you have that tropical touch. Also, you might add like a few pieces of mango in the mix. You add a lot of salt, like spoon upon spoon of salt in the mix. You add a lot of ice and sparkling water. And to me, this is how this fragrance smells. It's such a unique scent profile. I mean, it's not a me sort of fragrance at all, so I don't think I could wear a fragrance like this, but it's a funky fragrance. It's a fragrance that stands out. I feel like this fragrance is for those sorts of people who are very, like, let's just say, unconventional in the way that they express themselves, you know? They are not the ones who follow the herd, you know? They're the ones who go on their own way. And you also add, like, let's just say, like, few cranberries in the mix, you know? So you have this, like, a little bit of a, what's the word in English? You know how cranberries are, like, they taste like they're not sweet, they're like tangy, or what is the word? Sour, I think sour. They're like a little bit sour, you know? So you have this like sweet, sour, salty, cooling, tropical mix. So I think if you like salty fragrances, or if you want to test salty fragrances, this is a very good one to begin with. I don't think it's very expensive. I think it's quite affordable, and the performance for this one is here. It performs, it smells very good. The only thing that I want to tell you is keep in mind, after a few hours, the salty quality, like perhaps not the salty quality is still there, but like the cocktail, the notes and the accords, basically the smell that makes it smell like a cocktail would taste, they're gone, and you're left with soft, salty, a little bit musky, a little bit woody, but like a soft woody touch in the background, you know? Now this fragrance, guys, it could easily be a unisex fragrance. It's a fragrance that it's more, like I said, on the abstract side. It smells like a cocktail, you know? Also, it's not listed, guys, but when I smell it on my skin, after the part that smells like a cocktail fades away, I would say I do get like soft suede-like touches. So keep this in mind. I don't know if this is a safe blind buy. I mean, for sure it's not a safe blind buy, but if you're looking for more like a fun, crazy sort of fragrance, I think this is that fragrance. So let's move on to the next fragrance. This one is called The Love Story. I have a sample of this one, and this comes in such a beautiful, romantic looking bottle. I will try to insert a picture somewhere over here. It looks like a heart shape from the above. To me, this one smells how it looks. It smells very romantic, it smells very girly, but if the bottle were to match the color, or like the color I imagine this juice would have, this would be like a blueberry color, you know, now this one, guys, it smells so delicious in the opening. This again smells like a drink, but a totally different drink this time. This to me smells in the opening like a dark berries tea that's cold. So you have this like dark berry, dark sweet fruity touch, but like moderate sweet, you know, like how dark berries naturally smell like. You also have this like watery cooling quality at the same time, like tea-like touch in the opening. So I would say it's very different to the kind of fragrance that I have tried so far. Yes, it smells like an iced tea drink. Again, this doesn't stay linear, this changes a little bit, but I would say this one changes throughout its own scent family, or you know, like how to, I hope you got my point. Like this basically smells the same, it's just the ratio, or like the amount of notes, or like the strength of the notes changes as you are wearing this one. I think this is an amazing fragrance. It's darker than the previous ones. I would say it's more daring than the previous ones. It's also sweeter, more edible, but edible, guys, like drinkable, like basically smells like a drink, you know, but in a good way. It smells like tea. Once this one starts to develop a little bit on your skin, you have the same delicious dark berry smell, the same watery quality, but now you have something added to it that makes the overall scent more rounder and denser. You have an added vanilla musky combo, but you also have this like very creamy sandalwood. I would say this is more like a dark romantic fragrance. Again, this to me is a gourmand. It's not edible, but it's like drinkable, or like, I think even it could be edible, you know, who knows. It's delicious. If you love the smell of dark berries, if you love this like dark, deep, rich, a very aromatic fruity nuance from all the berries, you know, like all the variety of the berries, you will love this fragrance. Basically, in my opinion, this is the one that matches me the most out of these fragrances that I have tried. This fragrance has personality to it. Even though it's a very wearable fragrance, you could easily blind buy this fragrance. Now, I know some of you might ask me, I don't know how this one compares to Amethyst by Lalique. I have not smelled that fragrance, so I don't know if they are similar or not. But what I can tell you as a baseline, if you like gourmand fragrances, if you like dark, rich, deep, fruity fragrances, if you like gourmand fragrances, if you like these sort of fragrances, like fruity gourmand fragrances for the summertime. But again, I want to emphasize, or like I really want to emphasize on the fact that this is a dark gourmand fragrance. This is not your light, bright, fruity gourmand, you know? This is your dark, fruity gourmand. So we got to the final fragrance. This is a fragrance that, honestly, I'm not really sure how it's marketed, but I would say this is a perfect unisex, if not even a little bit more on the masculine side, at least to me. This fragrance is called Oud Lavender. This is actually the sample that I'm using, and this is like a spare one that I have. Let me actually read you the notes for this one, because again, I love the fact that you have the notes here, which it makes it so easy, guys, and convenient, even when you are smelling the fragrance, you know. In the top, this one has hyacinth, lavender, and fruits. In the heart, it has iris, jasmine, and pink pepper. And in the base, it has vetiver, amber, oud, and musk. Now, the thing is, I looked this one up on Fragrantica, and there it has listed two notes, lavender and oud. And it's not a lavender and oud mix. I would say lavender for sure, oud, not really. Don't buy this one looking for an oud base. So guys, when it comes to this fragrance, I have smelled this one prior to buying the sample for this one. I have actually smelled it at my local mall in a shop. And the first thing that it reminded me of when I smelled it, it was Anabied White from Latafa, but like a more potent, less sweet, more unisex, heavy on lavender take on that one. I'm not saying that they're similar, they don't smell alike, but honestly, this is the first fragrance that it reminded me of when I smelled it. This one to me basically smells like a spa, like a luxury spa, or it smells like someone's relaxing, wind down routine after a long day of work. Basically, the note that stands out to my nose the most is the lavender, but the lavender here, it's more of an aromatic lavender. It's not like a soapy kind of lavender. This to me doesn't have a soapy touch. It has a clean, fresh touch, but it's not soapy, which I like because I don't appreciate soapy fragrances. They're not personally for me. So basically, to me, this is clean, this is fresh, this is aromatic because of the lavender. I also get some like slight citrusy, fruity touches, but like citrusy, fruity, peppery touches, but they are more soft, subdued, and in the background. The overall scent, I would say it's very round and it's very dense. I also get a lot of musk in this one. The musk is clean, it has a clean undertone. Now, this one is definitely a unisex fragrance, meaning that women could pull this one off, men could pull this one off. I think as a woman, if you love lavender in your fragrances, this is a fragrance that you should try, in my opinion. Like I said, keep in mind it's not a soapy lavender, you know, it's more of a aromatic like lavender. To me, the lavender in this one smells very realistic. It smells like those like small lavender bags that you can, you know, like you can buy them and then put them in your closet to scent your closet, you know. It has that vibe. It also has some like soft, like citrusy, fruity, peppery hints here and there, but they are not, at least to my nose, they are not like the main notes that I smell. They are more like in the background, to say. It has like a slight, you know, like pink peppery touch to it, but the overall scent is very smooth, it's very round, it's very dense, it's very relaxing, it's clean, it has a clean undertone, fresh, bright, and aromatic because of the lavender. I think if you enjoy lavender, it's a pretty safe blind buy. If you don't enjoy lavender, I don't know, I don't think I would recommend you to check out this fragrance, because the lavender is here from the moment you apply it till the dry down. Like, there's no way you can go past the lavender note in this one. Also, guys, to me it doesn't have wood. I mean, I do get some slight woody accords in the background, but again, it's almost like they're wrapped in something very round, you know. It's not that very rough, dry woody accord that you get in a lot of other fragrances. This one, like I said, it's wrapped in something that's very round, you know. That's very like easy to reach, on the go sort of fragrance, you know. Like you could wear this one to the gym, you could wear this one when you do the groceries, you could sneak few sprays after the shower, you could sneak few sprays of this one in the morning, you could sneak few sprays of this one like when you meditate, or basically whenever you want to feel relaxed, because this is the vibe that this gives me. It's relaxing. I think this smells like a luxury spa, honestly. This is like a spa experience in a fragrance, you know. Now, if you want to know like what I personally think about this fragrance, it's not my kind of fragrance. I would prefer to smell this one on my partner rather than on me, but I still think it's an amazing fragrance if you're a lover of lavender. And no guys, it doesn't remind me of any other fragrances besides the one that I have mentioned. So yes guys, those were my thoughts about these fragrances. I would say the one that stood out the most to me, or like the one that's the most me, let's say, it's Love Story. That one is a beautiful fragrance. If you like dark berries, if you like the smell of dark berries and vanilla with a creamy sandalwood, I would advise you to check out that fragrance. You could easily blind buy that fragrance. I don't think it can be off-putting in any way, shape or form for you. Now, the one that, let's say, is the most unique or out of the ordinary is definitely Muzn. That fragrance, guys, it's like I said, it's something I have never personally smelled before. It's a fragrance that really stood out to me. It's not my kind of fragrance. I don't think I could pull off a fragrance like this, but if you are into more like weird fragrances, more like weird, but like weird in a good way fragrances, I think you would enjoy that one. Of course, as always, get a sample or a decant if possible before. The one that's the safest blind buy, I would say it's Leen. That one, guys, that one is such an easy, rich, feminine fragrance. It's so easy to like, it's so easy to enjoy that for some people it might be underwhelming, you know. So I would say get this one if you want something that's your like easy rich scent, if you want something that smells very feminine, that has a little bit of a sweetness, that performs very well, or let's say you want to gift a fragrance, I would say gift this one, because this one, I'm sure, no matter what kind of fragrances you like in general, like there's no way to not like this fragrance, you know. The other one, Musk Roses, guys, this one smells great. This one really smells amazing. If you're a floral lover, I would only advise you to get this one if you're a floral lover, because even though, like I said, after you get past the opening, it's still it changes into a coconutty creamy sandalwood, but guys, you still have that peony rosy touch in the background, you know. Now guys, when it comes to Oud Lavender, I would say if you want like a luxury spa experience at home, if you want a fragrance that you could, let's say, share with your partner, I think it will smell amazing on both the genders. And if you enjoy lavender overall, I would say get that one. I don't think you will be disappointed. Performance wise, I think the strongest one is definitely Oud Lavender, the oiliest one, the strongest one, like I said, with lavender. But all the other ones that I have showed you are very oily in consistency. Some are softer in scent profile, like Leen, for instance. Some are heavier, like Love Story, but heavier in a good way, you know. None of them have a Middle Eastern vibe. None of the fragrances from today's video have a Middle Eastern vibe to them. They're pretty much like your designer light DNA, but let's say like you took it a step further, you know, when you sprinkle some uniqueness in them, because to me they don't smell plain and basic. Or let's say even those that do smell more plain, I think they're basic fragrances done very well. So yes, those were my thoughts about these 5 fragrances. If you've tried any of these 5 fragrances, feel free to put your thoughts down below. I'm sure it would help a lot of people who are interested in them. I would be also very curious to read how is their experience with any of these fragrances and how would you describe them overall. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I love reading your comments, so if you want to tell me anything, please put it down below. Don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram. I will link it somewhere up there. So yes, I'm sending you lots of love, hugs and positive energy. So yes, thank you so much for watching. I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye. Mwah.